One moment. Oh shit. Huh. Oh wow. That was not good. I think I just broke my second monitor with that. You have failed me again, Glasslips. I actually think I just broke my second monitor with that. Oh my god. No matter what this fucking thing is used for. That was a disc! How did it break the... It wasn't my good monitor. Okay. Oh, it wasn't my good monitor. It was my bad monitor. That's fine. That's okay. It's a pile of shit anyway. Meaning to get a second one. I actually physically broke my second. This is the worst anime I've ever watched in my life. It's funny because you can actually see the part where all the demonic energy inside that disc collided with the monitor and gave it a very bad day. Yeah, again, thank God it was my second monitor. I am meaning to get a new one, but a fucking disc did this. Astonishing. Like, I thought it would just skate across the table, maybe break. I wouldn't mind if it broke, but wow. It's so bad. This is so fucking miserable. Notes. I've finished it, guys. This is not a joke. I have painstakingly taken like an hour and a half, maybe like an hour, for like every single episode. Individually watching every one of them. You know, I'm gonna see if like maybe if I... No, there's no way that's gonna work. Like, turn off my monitor and turn it back on. No, it's definitely fucked for life. Cute. Oh. I have no words for this terrible, miserable, fucking atrocious anime. It's actually garbage. It's plain and simple the worst anime I have ever seen in my entire life. From the very moment it starts, you get 4 minutes of silence, and then the characters start talking. And you realize in the first episode just how boring and slow it is. And it sticks through the whole show. There were 2 moments, 2 in the whole show, that made me laugh out loud. And it wasn't even that big of a laugh. Honestly, if they existed in other shows, I probably would have laughed a little bit, but not that bad. I would have been like, it was an okay joke. But in other shows, in this show, it was like amazing. Because I literally felt as if I was getting nothing out of the other... How long's the run time for this shit? 325 minutes? Yeah. Out of the other 324 minutes of this shit, I felt like I was getting nothing. I was getting robbed of logic, sense, and reasoning. Episode 11 is the only one I would consider even remotely okay. I'm pretty sure episode 11 was the one I was like, tolerable. If the whole show was episode 11 and like a couple episodes 11, I'd be like, it gets a 6. That's it. Maybe a 5. But because the whole show is nothing but 1s and 12s, 12 especially was a fucking miserable shit stain. I just watched the last 2 episodes today. It's beautiful. I'm up at almost 3 in the morning, and I have to get up for work tomorrow. And I'm just sitting here ranting because it doesn't get better. It really does not get better. You think it's going to get better, maybe. You have your hopes out. You sit there for all 13 episodes. It does not get better. Let's start with why Glasslip is hated so much when it should not be hated. For this, we have to go back to fall 2013, winter 2014, and summer 2014. Why? What a tacos love and need. I hate comparing animes, but in this situation, I compare this because just stretch this out. Stretch this out. This is one of the biggest reasons why Glasslip is hated. Comparisons to other anime. That's absolutely true. Because if this was the only anime that existed, I would say two things. I would say, wow, this looks really, really good visually. And it is a boring as shit story. That is exactly what I would say. But now that I've seen other anime, what I can say about Glasslip is, wow, this looks good, but it's a lazy animation. And it's also the worst piece of shit I think I've ever seen in my life. Oh. It's about a group of friends that due to change, they might not be as close to each other as before due to romance and meeting new peoples and places. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So why is it hated so much? Because that's all it fucking is. And it does it poorly. There's a reason the term rom-com exists. It's because romance is very hard to work on its own. Because it's such a difficult genre to hold attention for more than, like, a movie's length of time. This is 3 movies' lengths of time. This is 325 minutes. That's about, I don't know, 3 movies worth? I would say that's about 3 movies worth. 25 minutes, so that's about 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes. Yeah, I would say about 3 worth. Maybe a little less, like a kid's movie thrown in there, like 2 adult movies, kids movie, 2 2-hour movies, whatever. Point is, Glasslip sucks. Actually, wait, no, that's completely wrong. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm right. That's about 5 hours and 25 minutes. Okay, yes, that's about 2.5 movies. Glasslip blows. And I have not exactly prepared a reasoning list as to why it blows, but because I've taken so many notes, it'll take me like 3 seconds to say exactly why it blows. Okay, let's start with the very first thing you see, animation. Okay, it looks nice. Okay, Glasslip, you got that going for you. You look nice visually. Then the characters move, and they talk, and you see the movement, and you realize it's lazy. Now, this is nothing against Glasslip in a way of speaking. Most animes are very lazy in their movement style. Like, you look at, what's a good example? Rurouni Kenshin. It doesn't look great, and the movement is a little bit stunted, unless it's in an action scene, in which case it does look okay, but for the most part, Rurouni Kenshin's action is stunted. Then there's stuff like School Rumble, which does not look fantastic visually, but it has a very fast-paced animation style. And because it doesn't look great, it's able to put more of its budget into movement. And Glasslip chose to make itself look visually impressive instead of actually making itself look animated. And though that would work okay if the story was good, because it'd be like a slow-paced story, it's so slow-paced that it puts me to sleep. It honestly just puts me to sleep. If I wasn't sitting here taking these notes, I would actually have fallen asleep multiple times. It was actually keeping me awake in recoiling at the horror of how boring this shit is. Oh, okay. So what else does it have going for it? The opening theme and the ending theme. The ending theme is okay. Opening theme, I actually kind of like. Top 20? Probably not. Top 40? Maybe. It's an okay opener. I actually enjoy it. I don't know, it just has a nice little twang guitar going. It's not overly hyped or loud. It fits the mood of the show. It's good. It's not a bad intro. The character designs are stock as shit, but whatever. Who cares? Kakeru, Toko, Sachi, Yoshiki, Yanagi, and Hiro. I can remember all their names. just so easy because I've taken these fucking notes. That's the only reason I can remember their names. Otherwise, it would be impossible. It would be impossible to remember their names otherwise. Let's talk about the characters individually. Toko. She's ditzy, kind of annoying, and she isn't very interesting. Kakeru. He is the oddball of the group, and he isn't very interesting because he's just the oddball character that sort of flows through the anime. Doesn't have any funny scenes, any funny lines, he just sort of exists. Sachi. She's the book nerd. I just watched Kawaii Complex. And there's Ritsu. And while I don't think she's a fantastic character, she is a hell of a lot better than Sachi, because she's literally better Sachi. That's all you need to know about her. Hiro. Hiro's the character that tries to look like Ritsu, not Ritsu from Kawaii Complex, Ritsu from K-on's brother. And he is probably the most interesting character of the six, even though he's not super interesting either. He at least has some personality to him. Yoshiki is the most miserable, boring character. He just runs, he hits on Toko, and he runs. Yanagi is literally the same thing. And it's really funny, because this guy in his thing says that, where is it? It's not pander to otakus. Alright. It is one of the best romances I have ever seen in anime. Yukinari and Yanagi. We need an OAV about them. Again, Glasslip was about to... No. You know who we need an OVA about? Let me tell you who we need an OVA about. Jonathan. And it should have lasted 5 minutes. And it should have been the chicken doing some chicken things. And that should have been the whole show. Just replace the whole show with 5 minutes of good animation and Jonathan. And that would have been enough. He is the only reason to watch this show. The plot. Oh, my lord. You see what he said there? This guy in this review said something very ironic. He said, this is just an anime about friends over summer vacation that get a little sidetracked due to romance and all that shit. Yes. Then what the fuck was up with the Future Vision garbage? I don't know. It just sort of exists. It has no reason to be there. It has no reason to... It takes up like half the fucking show near the end. In the beginning, it doesn't matter at all. In the end, it's like, oh shit, guys, we better not use this crap because it could be hurting somebody. It could be damaging because it's actually not technically future visions. They're visions of what probably will be, but won't actually be, even though that's somehow different from the future. Just the explanation garbage they use is actually explained to be unintelligent and stupid. Well, they don't actually say that, but they say we don't actually know at the end of the show. You don't learn anything. You learn absolutely nothing. Spoilers, the mom at the very end drops a bombshell that she's just like, oh yeah, Toko, you know, sometimes when I look at glass, I see visions of, like, the future, and I always thought they were, like, you know, prophetic. I'm like, wait, what? This is hereditary? It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. Later on, she's with Kakeru, and she's just like, oh yeah, by the way, my mom said this. You know what, it's nothing. It's like, whenever you say that, it actually means something important. She's like, you're right. And then she goes off into a tangent about something completely different. It's story writing 101. If you're going to bring something like that up, you do something with it. If you're going to create this magical element to the show and use it for so little, like, it's just giving an excuse as to why Kakeru needs to leave at the end. That's it. You get the romance between Toko and Kakeru, and you feel like almost the entire time Kakeru isn't even invested in it. Though he says he is. He keeps saying he is, but you don't feel that shit. When you see something like Toradora, or School Rumble, or fucking, I don't know. What's the other one I'm thinking of? It's the one where everyone's at that, the cat girl of the complex, or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm drawing such a blank. It's not Kawaii Complex. Though that's also another example. It's the one where they are at the hall, Sakura Hall. Yeah, the Kakarot Sakura Hall. That shit. Those characters, you feel their connections to each other, and it's not even like romantically pressed. Like that's not the main focus of the show. It's actually more of a feel like growing up. Like this show. This show is about growing up in part, but it doesn't go far enough. Like Sakura Hall goes far enough into growing up, and something like Toradora goes more into the relationship shit. This tries to be an awkward hybrid, despite being half the length of both of them. Like, both of those get second seasons, and I still feel like neither was a complete show, even though I loved them. Toradora especially was fantastic. But this garbage, with its 13 episodes, was terrible. And I just want to say this right now. This is the first time I think I've ever seen a show that's as short as 13 episodes have a filler. I just want you to let that sink in right now. A romantic anime, comedy, one of these shits that's 13 episodes long. 13 on 2 discs. And had a filler. It wasn't technically a filler. It was like, oh, well, since I have this vision of reversing our roles into like a snow world, now I can understand your expected loneliness. That is seriously a line. Unexpected, expected. Who the fuck did Onision write this shit? An act of subtle, self-inflicted psychological torture. Like, it's just... so bad. It's so unadulteratedly bad. It's a 1. It's a 1 out of 10. This is the first and only 1 out of 10 I've ever seen. I said in Fillertorials episode 3, I want to say it is, when I was giving my rating system, that I had not found a 1 out of 10. And I made a later edit into the script saying, yeah, I haven't seen all of Glasslips yet, and that might be my first one. It was. And I said in that video, I remember what I said, what it takes to become a 1 anime, is that it has to be something I regretted watching. And Glasslip was it. I fully regret watching or seeing Glasslip. I just regret it. But, though I say that, how do I regret watching Glasslip is important. When I first said that, when I wrote that script up, I said to myself what regret means. And I said, regret was seeing something and saying, wow, that was so fucking miserable, it was a waste of time. Terrible. Regret. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized how sad and lonely regret actually is. The more I realized how terrible it is to feel like you've regretted spending time on something. So I sort of figured that given my more optimistic personality, I know it doesn't sound like it with this shit, but I'm generally an optimist, that I probably would never run into a situation where I see something and say I regret watching it. This, I don't regret watching in a traditional sense. I don't want to say privileged, and I don't want to say honored, but I've been given the opportunity to see shit. I've been granted the ability to see something so bad that it has taught me a lesson in animation and in judging other anime. It has taught me exactly what it means to create something that is just terrible, that has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Glasslip's, how should I put this? It's like you're on the street, okay, and you see a homeless person. Glasslips, whatever you want to say, is like a homeless person. Do I regret that they exist? Of course not. From a physical sense, I don't regret that they exist. I'm not like The Purge or Michael Bay and saying, oh, we need to eradicate all the homeless scum of the earth. No, absolutely not. I have nothing but sympathy for the people who have no homes, who have no food, who have no ability to sleep somewhere safe every single night under a roof that is reliable. That's depressing as shit to me, and that's very sad. And if I actually see someone on the street, I think I would have difficulty not stopping my car or stopping walking and giving them a little something. But I regret that homeless people exist in that they have to exist. Something like this has to exist because we have to know what the worst looks like. We have to understand the bottom to be able to understand everything above it. We have to be able to see situations in other countries or homeless people to understand that we are living a fantastic life that we should not take for granted. That's a very serious metaphor, but it's not anything as shitty as what this show's come up with. It's bad, guys. It's bad. There's two funny moments, and I'm gonna say Toko's sister Hina was probably the only things I like about the whole show. Hina was kind of dorky, and she was the only character that felt like she really had a outgoing personality. Everything else is terrible. Absolutely fucking miserable. I understand this is going up on Thursday night. I'm going to upload it immediately, and probably no one's going to see it until the morning. So, Super, if you're watching this, I hope you did well in your final. Here's a nice little late-night present for me. You're probably watching in the morning or in the afternoon. Maybe before you take your final, you can have a good laugh at how miserable this was. If I ever do an anime talk show or Animax on this shit, I will definitely go more scripted and in-depth into why this is bad. But for right now, this Fillertorials Extra, whatever the hell I'm going to call it, this is the end of Glasslip. I have finished my most recent anime, and I have finished something that I absolutely hate. Go in that direction where you can't break something, you pile of shit. But it's already broken my spirit, so what are you gonna do, right? Later.